Hello, and welcome to The Breakdown with Benjamin Nguyen. The Breakdown's aiming to be a weekly political news program, looking at events from week to week, with a focus on breaking down subjects that Shasta County residents should know about. I felt that it was necessary to chronicle what has been going on weekly, because, as a Shasta County resident, I can tell you a lot is going on right now. I'm speaking, of course, of the recall that's currently collecting signatures within our county. But first, let's get to the weekly. Carlos Zapata, partner in the Red, White, and Blueprint online docuseries and recall supporter, was finally served his temporary restraining order at his daughter's graduation at Foothill High School. This was after avoiding process servers on 9 separate occasions for more than a month. The restraining order was filed by local comedian and Black Lives Matter activist Nathan Pickney after being assaulted at his place of work. I have a lot more to say on the subject, but I'm going to save that for another breakdown. Kathy Darling Allen, Shasta County's top elections official, released a statement of estimated costs to the county for a special election. The estimated cost for a standalone recall election for one supervisor would be $400,000. That number increases to as much as $640,000 if all 3 supervisors ended up facing a recall election. And now for the breakdown. So there's a lot of confusion surrounding election law and what is required when collecting signatures for a recall petition. So let's clear it up. Anyone who signs a petition must personally write their printed name, physical place of residence, not simply where they receive mail, so no P.O. boxes, and then their signature. They must be registered voters in the district for the recall petition they are signing for their signature to be valid. There are 3 separate recall petitions happening concurrently. It's also important to note that all signatures must be delivered to the Shasta County Elections Office at the same time for any individual recall effort. Signatures cannot trickle in. Recall Shasta, the group responsible for initiating these recalls, has previously made mistakes when collecting signatures for their petitions of intent. A News Cafe reporter, Donnie Chamberlain, recently reported on those suspicious signatures for the notice of intent petition that was needed for the recall. To even begin collecting signatures for a recall, a notice of intent is needed to be published, which consists of a statement of why each supervisor should be recalled. It's important to note that the intent does not need to have an actual valid reason. They can put anything they want on the intent. Only 10 signatures are required to start the recall process for each of the 3 district supervisors, Leonard Modi, Mary Rickard, and Joe Chimenti. This intent to recall, along with the collected signatures, is then posted in public places and published in circulated newspaper for 10 days. The suspicious signatures in question were published for public view and contained signatures where it appeared as if only one member of some households filled out all the information, and then another person signed. One signee, Linda Wilson, was upset that their information was published and informed a news cafe that she had filled out the address information for her husband due to his vision problems. Election law technically does allow for this instance, although it is unclear if a third-party witness is required in these situations. These instances are expected to be rare, so it certainly raises an eyebrow when some of the other examples clearly show one person filling out the address information for everyone else in the household, then having someone else sign. Per election law, this is not allowed. No one is necessarily alleging fraud, though, as Shasta County Elections Office stated they met the threshold to initiate a recall for all 3 districts to begin collecting signatures for the recall. This just means they were able to meet the threshold with all the non-valid signatures removed. As for the actual recall signatures, election law requires at least 20% of registered voters to sign the petition to trigger a recall in the district of that supervisor. This comes out to a little more than 4,000 signatures per district. My bigger question is, did Recall Shasta inform those signing the petition that it would be published along with their home addresses? Petition signers seem to be upset that their information was public, but that's part of election code. It's important to always ask questions before signing something. Some Shasta County residents are concerned about the validity of the signatures that are currently being collected for the recall, as they will not be available for public scrutiny. Election law states that when over 500 signatures are collected, random sampling to validate signatures can be used. This method's generally accepted, but Recall Shasta's penchant for cutting corners is a real cause for concern. Donnie Chamberlain's article has certainly had an effect, as Recall Shasta explains to canvassers.
We cannot and will not help them fill it out. We can't do that, right? So, they need to fill everything out. It needs to be in their handwriting on the petitions, okay? So make sure that if we have any issues, if anybody, says, hey, can you fill out my address or what have you, really we need that in their writing. That's just kind of the law, so let's stick to that.
That being said, it isn't required to do random sampling after 500 signatures are collected. If you are concerned about the validity of signatures, citizens should request that Shasta County Elections Office do a full audit of every signature to ensure signatures are legal and accurate. This will benefit election integrity and serve as to ensure confidence in our electoral process. If you wish to voice your concern, contact the Shasta County Elections Office at 530-225-5730. And that's the breakdown for the week of May 31st, 2021.